Hi, everybody. Apparently, I have a lot of thoughts about the soap operas today because um, I have some more thoughts about what's going on currently on Bold. But okay, so I'm going to take a deep dive here. So, if you're not interested into deep dives, this may or may not be your video, but I'm already forewarning you. So, I'm not going to be like very short. I'm not going to be extremely long, but probably going to be around the 10-minute range. Okay? Because I feel like I have a lot to unpack. Now, I feel like in the past 2 days, especially, I've been doing very surface level uh, reviews, opinions, whatever. Okay, this one is going to be a deep dive. So, yeah. Okay, now, what I consider a deep dive is when I go into dynamics and everything. That's why I say give me 10 minutes. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is something I don't normally do. So it's a bit different, but it's still in my wheelhouse. So I still feel comfortable doing it. Okay, what I'm going to do is compare the two women that are involved in the storyline. Just the two women, not their families. Although I might mention their family just slightly, but it's mostly going to be about the two women. Okay, so first on the block, Sheila Carter. Okay, so Sheila on the surface is very like a lone wolf type. And some people might say it's because she made her own choices and she kind of made her own bed. So, lying it, that kind of thing. But basically, a lone wolf. Deacon was kind of a lone wolf too, which is why I believe he was attracted to her because I think that of all the women he had ever been with, they always wanted him to be somebody he wasn't. Where Sheila Carter allowed him to be himself and be everything that he wanted to be and all the stuff, right? Okay, so she encouraged him to do what he wanted. She gave him encouragement. She gave him support. She gave him love, the whole thing. Okay? Where Sheila Carter was a lone wolf because of the choices she made and basically how many people she, for lack of a better word, screwed over the years. And that led to her family not wanting anything to do with her and everybody that was kind of surrounding her to be at least cautious about being around her because of her previous actions. Now, whether you like it or not, we all judge each other on a daily basis. We all do. It's a subconscious psychological thing. Okay? You look at somebody and you judge them based on the clothes, based on the hair, based on who you think they are before they even speak a word. So then you take that template that I just gave you and you put it against a soap opera character. And then you go, okay, Sheila Carter. And you can make a list of all her bad deeds. And then you make a list of her good deeds. And invariably, the list of good deeds is going to far outweigh or outnumber the bad deeds because the bad deeds are like 20. And the good deeds, I just picked a number. But and the good deeds are like 5. Okay? So if you base someone just based on a list, you would say that Sheila Carter is a bad person or a bad character, right? But then if you're going to give a holistic look, you have to look at the whole character, okay? Yes, she was bad for decades. However, I believe she's trying to turn a new leaf. So you got to give her credit. And she hasn't done anything to anybody in the past couple years since she's been married to Deacon. Deacon made her kind of a better person. Now, I'm not trying to say that to get counter responses and say, oh, you just want to look at the good side. No, I'm going to look at the whole person. But if you're going to look at the whole person, you got to say bad and good. You can't just say bad, or you can't just say good either. Because, okay, I'm going to do the same for Taylor. Her name is Taylor Hayes. Okay? You're going to look at Taylor Hayes. She's done some bad things throughout the journey of the character. Now, I'm not going to put everything on Rebecca Budig because that wouldn't be fair. Because she's been portrayed by 3 people as of yet. So, there was a time when Hunter Tyler was Taylor, and she did some bad stuff. And then Krista Allen, I feel like she tried to refute all the stuff that Hunter Tyler had done as a character. And have maybe done some questionable things, but only questionable things. And then Taylor, the new Taylor, is not the best psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever she's supposed to be in the world, because she definitely violated doctor-patient confidentiality, and I don't think you're supposed to be involved with a patient just in general, even if they quit using your services, but that's just my opinion. Okay? And not to mention all the stuff that she did with her kids about telling them who to be with, who not to be with, and all the stuff, and all the relationships she was in with people she shouldn't have been in the first place, all this stuff. Okay? But I just gave you a complete overview of everything that Taylor as a character has done that's bad. Everything. Okay? So, and then now you see the good side. Good side is she always tried to be a good mother to her kids. Only thing is that I believe, now this is a belief and an opinion, okay? Mine. Personally, mine. But I believe they made the character of Taylor like too dependent on a man's affection for her, whatever. I don't know. She equated a man's love to her self-worth a lot more than she should have, because she claimed to Ridge like a mother. And Ridge treated her like crap, like he did every other relationship he was ever in, until I told him to stop it and said, please just pick one. And they finally did that. But let's just say that Ridge was not the best character for decades, because it was Taylor, Brooke, Taylor. But Taylor put her whole worth into whether this guy liked her or not, or loved her or not. Boy. Okay, so now she believes, with quotes, that she's found the love of her life. Problem is, she's married to somebody else. Okay? Okay. This is going to turn into a relationship 102 or 101. Okay, 101. Ladies and gentlemen, if a man ever watches my videos, okay. I know we're all on the hunt for like our person, maybe companionship, maybe connection, maybe whatever. Okay? But rule 101, if your person that you think you want to be with is with somebody else, they are not your person. Look for somebody else. Rule 102, if somehow you delude yourself into thinking that's still your person, don't go down to lying to the person that you're with just to be with them, because lying should be a no-go. Rule number 3, if you have to cheat or not be yourself to be with a person, maybe you shouldn't be with that person. Number 4, if you start being like a teenager and you're in your 40s, you have a problem. Maybe that's not your person, because everything I just listed, the right person will not make you do. They will not make you forego your values, forego your instincts, forego your humanity, forego your humanness, or any of the qualities that I just listed. And Deacon and Taylor are doing that. Deacon more so than Taylor, but still, because it takes two to tango. Remember that phrase? They used to say it all the time. It's true. It takes two people to have a relationship. If one person is not willing, you don't have a relationship. And guess what? Even though it's soap and we're supposed to be in a fantasy world, either one of these people could stop at any point. Remember that. So don't forego your values to be with somebody. End of lesson. Thank you.